Ever stop to wonder just how many celebrities have gone under the knife? And more importantly, how many later grapple with regret? In the high-stakes world of Hollywood, where the relentless pursuit of youth and beauty is the rule, the pressure to maintain an impossible image is absolutely unavoidable. Yet beneath the glamour, even the most self-assured stars can ultimately become victims of their own mirrored reflection. Today, we're diving deep into the journeys of stars who let the obsession with beauty take over, detailing how their relentless quest for perfection ultimately led to their downfall. Let us know in the comments, drop a 1 if you genuinely feel for these icons, or a 0 if you see things differently. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now, so you never miss another fascinating story about celebrity transformations across the decades. The 1990s weren't just a decade, they were the era of Linda Evangelista. She wasn't simply a supermodel, she was the supermodel, the face that defined an entire generation. Gracing over 700 magazine covers, she single-handedly shaped an era characterized by unparalleled elegance, fierce confidence, and high fashion allure. Evangelista quickly solidified her status as a true industry icon, celebrated equally for her sharp, unforgettable beauty and her undeniable, irresistible charm. She was deeply admired not only for her striking looks, but also for the sheer professionalism and commitment she brought to conquering every challenge in her career. From runway domination to groundbreaking ad campaigns and major red carpet moments, Linda was the name everyone had to have, commanding the world's absolute attention. Known for that signature radiant smile, those sparkling eyes, and, of course, her famously voluminous hair, Linda Evangelista didn't just walk the path. She was the definitive trailblazer for the new wave of supermodels. From securing high-profile advertising campaigns to regularly gracing the most prestigious magazine covers, Linda wasn't merely a hired face for brands. She was the very embodiment of high-fashion success. Possessing undeniable magnetic confidence, Linda transcended mere stardom. She became a living symbol of the 1990s, the name synonymous with the golden age of unparalleled elegance and defining fashion style. But lurking just beneath that perfect, polished image was a devastating story, one that would irrevocably shatter Linda Evangelista's life. In 2015, she decided to try cool sculpting, a trendy, non-invasive, fat-freezing procedure that confidently promised to melt away stubborn fat pockets with zero surgery or downtime. The method was widely regarded as safe and had earned the trust of countless celebrities. Yet for Linda, what should have been a simple, routine cosmetic treatment catastrophically spiraled into a truly terrifying, life-altering nightmare. Following 7 sessions, the treated areas tragically failed to shrink as promised. Instead, they began to unexpectedly harden, severely swell, and develop into painful, disfiguring lumps. Her delicate features, the chin, thighs, and breasts, gradually became noticeably deformed. Doctors quickly delivered a catastrophic diagnosis: paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, PAH, a rare, devastating side effect affecting less than 1% of all patients. For Linda, being part of that unfortunate percentile didn't just ruin her iconic appearance, it critically threatened her decades-long career, turning her into a tragic victim of a cosmetic procedure that was otherwise marketed as safe and broadly trusted. Following 7 brutal sessions, the treated areas tragically failed to diminish. Instead, they began to unexpectedly harden, severely swell, and distort. Her features, specifically the chin, thighs, and breasts, gradually became noticeably and painfully deformed. Doctors quickly delivered the shocking diagnosis: paradoxical adipose hyperplasia, PAH, a profoundly rare side effect that, chillingly, strikes less than 1% of patients. For Linda, landing in that unlucky percentile didn't just wreck her iconic appearance. It utterly devastated her career and forced her into confronting a drastic, unrecognizable transformation of her own body. She underwent 2 subsequent liposuction surgeries in 2016 and 2017, but the physical damage proved heartbreakingly irreversible. The agony she endured was immense, yet the emotional and psychological toll was undeniably heavier. The very woman who once famously declared, "I don't get out of bed if I'm making less than $10,000 a day," was now quietly forced to admit, "I was brutally disfigured." Overwhelmed by deep shame and distress, she completely withdrew from the spotlight for years, meticulously avoiding camera lenses, fashion shows, and even the company of her closest friends. The iconic face that once reigned supreme over the fashion world had vanished. Today, however, Linda has courageously stepped back into the public eye, modeling once again with a profound mixture of pride and vulnerability. Crucially, she is now openly sharing her trauma, fiercely using her platform to raise critical awareness about the hidden dangers of cosmetic procedures and the vital importance of radical self-acceptance. Once the global epitome of unattainable perfection, Linda Evangelista has now transformed into a powerful, essential voice for resilience, unwavering honesty, and the enduring beauty of survival. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Joan Van Ark was, without a doubt, one of the most cherished television stars. Her defining role as Valine Ewing on Knots Landing didn't just earn her fame, it cemented her status as a true icon in the entertainment industry. With her angelic features, gentle, expressive eyes, and signature radiant smile, she became the living embodiment of classic Hollywood beauty, a genuine role model universally admired. Joan wasn't only celebrated for her undeniable acting talent, but also for the pure, natural beauty that made her a beloved fixture on the small screen. Yet as the years progressed, that very face, the source of her stardom, slowly became her greatest, most dangerous obsession. By the early 1990s, Joan Van Ark took the plunge and underwent her first nose surgery, a subtle, almost imperceptible change. Yet, this initial small adjustment marked the beginning of a relentless, escalating series of cosmetic procedures. Over time, she went on to receive facelifts, complex eyelid surgery, numerous Botox injections, and aggressive chemical peels, all in a desperate attempt to cling to that youthful, fresh appearance. Critically, these procedures didn't just alter her recognizable features, they resulted in the gradual erosion of the very natural beauty that had initially set her apart in the fiercely competitive entertainment industry. Each time she noticed a new creeping sign of aging, she desperately attempted to cling to her youth with another procedure. However, the outcomes were utterly heartbreaking. Her once vibrant, radiant skin suddenly appeared pale, unnaturally taut, and her famous expressions grew noticeably stiff. The high-definition cameras that once adored her now ruthlessly exposed every trace of the surgeries: the unnervingly tight skin, the hollowed-out eyes, and a smile that no longer felt genuine. By the 2000s, her rapidly altering appearance had exploded into full-blown tabloid fodder. Headlines aggressively questioned, "What happened to Joan Van Ark?" Despite her persistent denial of going too far, the painful truth was tragically evident. If this story prompts you to reflect on the drastic decisions behind cosmetic procedures and the brutal price paid for eternal perfection, let us know in the comments. Drop a 1 if you empathize, or a 0 if you see things from a different perspective. And don't stop there. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss another deep dive story about celebrity transformations across the decades. Years of relentless cosmetic surgery had stripped away not only Joan van Arc's youth, but tragically, also the innate warmth that had been such a significant part of her screen charm. The continuous, aggressive changes and the high-stakes pursuit of perfection in the public eye caused her to gradually forfeit the natural beauty and effortless grace that fans once deeply adored. In 2020, during the star-studded 40th anniversary celebration of Knots Landing, viewers and fans were stunned into silence by her appearance, finding her almost unrecognizable. Her face, unnaturally stretched and fragile under the harsh studio lights, visibly bore the heavy weight of decades spent chasing an impossible ideal, a relentless journey with no true finish line. Today, Joan van Arc maintains a significantly more private life, making only occasional appearances at charity events and select industry gatherings. Despite the persistent public scrutiny and criticism regarding her appearance, she rightfully remains proud of her lasting legacy and the profound influence she has exerted on her devoted fan base, especially her historic contributions to the entertainment industry. Ultimately, her story serves as a haunting, undeniable reminder that the battle against the relentless march of time is one that no one can truly conquer. And sometimes, the most beautiful and courageous act a person can perform is simply to embrace the grace of aging. For centuries, Spain's House of Alba has stood as a formidable symbol of enduring power, immense wealth, and deep nobility. The family has long been renowned not only for its vast fortune, but also for its profound influence across Spanish society and politics. Yet, no member of this historic lineage has ever captivated global attention quite like Maria del Rosario Cayetana Fitzjames Stuart y Silva, the 18th Duchess of Alba. A woman famous for her eccentric spirit and truly colossal inheritance. She was the very definition of uniqueness, flawlessly blending the centuries-old legacy of her family with her own wildly distinctive mark on high society. Cayetana Fitzjames Stuart was famously known not just for possessing the highest number of noble titles globally, but equally for her remarkable ability to merge rigorous aristocracy with a vibrant, fiercely unconventional lifestyle. She commanded over 40 noble titles, including some of the most ancient and prestigious dignities across Spain and other European nations. These extraordinary privileges cemented her position as one of the most visible and influential aristocratic figures in contemporary high society. She possessed every material thing money could possibly buy, except for the one commodity no one can purchase: time. During the 1980s, when all of Europe celebrated her singular allure and glamorous style, Cayetana Fitzjames Stuart secretly began her personal desperate battle against the natural process of aging. Despite possessing a classically undeniable beauty, she could not escape the deep-seated fear of growing older, a concern that, in the upper echelons of high society, is often treated as a profound social liability. The moment the first fine lines appeared, she immediately turned to what would become a lengthy roster of cosmetic surgeons. Cayetana began her transformation modestly with an initial rhinoplasty, followed quickly by a full facelift, lip fillers, and an untold number of Botox injections. She genuinely believed that these initial procedures would help her preserve her youth and maintain the captivating, vibrant style she had always been celebrated for. However, mirroring many within the highest echelons of society, her pursuit didn't cease after the first step. Instead, it became a continuous, escalating cycle. She ultimately transformed into a striking, living symbol of the relentless quest for perfection in an era where youth and flawless aesthetics are viewed as absolutely everything. Each cosmetic intervention promised the illusion of eternal youth. But tragically, it only caused her to drift farther and farther from her original distinctive charm. Over time, her once regal and effortlessly elegant beauty gradually transformed into something unnaturally stiff, waxy, and visibly uneven. To make matters worse, she was soon diagnosed with Melkerson-Rosenthal syndrome, MRS, a profoundly rare neurological disorder known to cause chronic, recurrent facial swelling. In a desperate, repeated attempt to conceal the compounded effects of both the disease and the surgeries, she underwent several more operations. Unfortunately, this only accelerated the deterioration of her appearance, tragically compounding the damage. Her skin visibly surrendered its natural elasticity. Her famous expressions became rigidly set, and the delicate, aristocratic features she once possessed faded irrevocably behind layers of aggressive cosmetic procedures. Yet even facing intense scrutiny, the Duchess remained utterly resilient and unyielding. In 2011, at the remarkable age of 85, she absolutely stunned the world by walking down the aisle with a man 24 years her junior. The wedding instantly grabbed international headlines, not just for the unexpected romantic story, but also for the highly publicized and significantly altered nature of her appearance. While some loudly admired her sheer courage to live life on her own fiercely individual terms, others fiercely criticized her dramatic physical transformations. Maria del Rosario Cayetana. Fitzjames Stewart ultimately passed away in 2014, leaving behind vast historic estates, sprawling royal palaces, and an utterly unforgettable legacy. More than just a list of titles, her extraordinary life serves as a profound, universal reminder that even the most privileged and powerful among us cannot purchase the things that genuinely matter, be it youth, time, or true inner peace.